today's video, we're going to be doing a trade recap from a trade that I took on Tesla Tuesday, December 28th. I took a 42-second scalp. It was a pretty aggressive entry. Luckily, I came out all right and I made $1,085. So now let's take a look at what I was watching. I was looking at Tesla, Nvidia, Costco, MU, and Rivian. And then to the left of that is a screenshot of my private Twitter. This is what I post 30 minutes before market open each day. This is my game plan of the stocks I'm watching, the levels I'm interested in trading around. If you're interested in getting access to this, there's going to be a link in the description below. So now let's get into the technicals, starting with Tesla. So coming into the 28th, it already had 4 green days in a row. It was definitely extended. But Tesla can go a lot further than anyone anticipates or expects. So I was trying not to be too biased and just realizing that in order for this to continue to go to the upside, especially being that it had the gap up in the pre-market, it first had to take out pre-market high, which was really close to that prior day high. So that was going to be the main level I was looking at to the upside. And then if for some reason there was some weakness and it wanted to pull back because it was due for one, the downside level I was interested in trading around was going to be pre-market low. Now Nvidia, so had a really nice candle the prior day above the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA. Does look like a big flag pattern, so it looked like it had a chance to continue higher. So the main level that I was looking at to the upside, because it did have a gap up this day, was going to be pre-market high, which was 314.70. And if for some reason there was some weakness off the open, it wanted to pull back a bit just because this market, things can change quickly. The level I was interested in to the downside was going to be pre-market low. And now Costco, and the reason why I like this is because that was a really nice candle the prior day above the 9 EMA, and it's right near all-time high. So the main levels to the upside that I was interested in was going to be the pre-market high, which was 566. If it gets through that, then that next main level, which was going to be the major level, was all-time high, which was 566.55. If Costco makes a new all-time high, starts to catch momentum, who knows, maybe it can have a really nice move, and I wanted to be a part of that. And when stocks are trading close to all-time highs, I'm not really interested in shorting them, but the downside level that I was looking at was going to be this prior day low. If it gave this entire move back and then broke that low, maybe it had some more room to the downside. And now MU, and the reason why I like this is because it was a very quick flag pattern forming on the daily. Also, it had all-time high above at 97.50. So that prior high of the flag was 95. If it got through 95, maybe this has a chance to catch momentum, and who knows, could possibly make a new all-time high today. So 95 was the main level to the upside, and then the downside, if it broke prior day low at 92.73, maybe it could pull back a little bit, and it did have some room down to the 9 EMA on the daily. And now Rivian, and the reason why I was watching this is because it had a really nice candle the prior day, filled the upside gap on the daily, so I was looking for a second day continuation. So the main level to the upside was going to be that prior day high, 107.49. If it clears that and holds up, maybe it can get some continuation. And because it had a really strong move the prior day, I'm not really interested in shorting this the next day, but if for some reason this wanted to really start to sell off, there was a lot of weakness and it took out that prior day low, 96.80, maybe it had some more room to the downside. And now to get into the actual trade. So the first move, Tesla had a dip off the open, found some support right around that pre-market area, 1107, 1106, and then very quickly gets bought back up above the 9 EMA, above the VWAP. This is a super aggressive entry, and it definitely was risky. If it did not go my way, I probably would have taken a decent sized loss on this, but I was trying to anticipate that pre-market high and that prior day high break. So once it really started to speed up, I went long, the 11:15 calls, 5 of them, and I got filled at $29.40. And I knew that that was a really aggressive entry, so the moment it starts to go in my favor, I need to take some off. So I ended up taking 4 off right there, $31.90 for a nice move, and I wanted to leave 1 because if it broke that pre-market high, prior day high, and it stayed above, maybe it had a chance to get going. But this is a pretty nasty rejection. So the moment it starts coming in, just to be safe, I do not want to let that last contract go red. I ended up selling it and I got out at $30.25. So it's not common, but every now and then, instead of there being some sort of clean pattern, if it is approaching a major level, I'll go for it. I always make sure that when I'm doing that I need to be very careful. If it does not go in my favor almost immediately, I need to think about getting out of the way like I usually do, but especially really quick off the open, because if it starts to reverse, those losses can be really big. And after a trade like that, where I knew it was very aggressive, I did not want to continue to trade, push it, possibly start to overtrade and mess a good thing up. So it was a one and done and a crazy 42-second scalp. So now let's check out the P&L. Ended up making $1,085, which is a nice green day for me. That was the trade recap. Appreciate you watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just wanted to highlight a couple cool things I have to offer. The first is going to be my newsletter watch list. This is going to be what I post on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open every day. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a very quick highlight of the SPY, the Qs, the bigger picture, the upside level that I'm looking at, the downside level that I'm looking at, the market news or the catalyst that day. And then I'm going to list 4 to 6 names that I'm watching, my favorites that day, and then the catalyst behind them if there's any news, the bigger picture idea, what's going on the daily chart, and then the levels to the upside and the downside. And then I add some mental notes at the bottom, kind of what I'm thinking that day, make sure to keep my expectations in check and follow my process. And the second thing is going to be a one-on-one call. So if you want something that's less of a commitment and you just want to talk to me about my process and how I approach the market, this is going to be great. It's a one-on-one live call for 1 hour. So if you're interested in any one of these 2 things, there will be links in the description below. Feel free to check them out.